Bet you would agree that the most important role you play in life is that of a parent. But we're not perfect, so we're sharing ways that your parenting mistakes can actually make you a better mom. Therapist Holly Willard is here to explain. And you know, we like to set the bar pretty high for our kids, hoping that they can reach it. But as parents, we're bound to fail. I mean, perfection as a parent, is that even an option?
No, it's not an option for anybody. Even the parents that look perfect on the outside, it's usually what we're doing is we're comparing one of our weaknesses to their strength. And I was so glad that you had the organizing tips for moms, because I think that there are so much that we can learn from each other. And really, like, that may not be my strength, but that's her strength, and I can learn that from her. And if we look at it as a helping each other out versus comparing, I think it's gonna help a lot.
Great advice. So complementary skills. We can take what she has, try to add it to us, but if it's not our perfect place of parenting, that's okay too.
Yeah, and don't feel guilty about it, because there's too much to feel guilty about.
So how do we take those mistakes that we make and improve on them?
Well, what the research is, and this is a lot of Brene Brown's work, is that...
And she's great. I just have to add. I love this book that she wrote, A Gift of Imperfect Parenting. It's awesome.
So really, when we are trying to put that perfectionistic thing up, we're not being authentic, and we're actually not being vulnerable to relationships. That includes with other moms, with our spouses, or with our children. But when we can be an imperfect parent, what we're saying is, there's a piece of me that struggles too, and I identify with that piece of you. And I can be authentically a great mom and admit my mistakes.
I love that, and I was dying laughing because on the break, I just have to tell everybody that Holly said, you know, coming on to do this segment is great because I got a lot of practice in imperfect parenting this week, making mistakes.
It's like you put it out in the universe, and then there's all these things that come up with my kids, and I'm like, I can use that as an example.
Don't ever say it out loud. Keep it in an email, right? So why does failing scare us so much? I mean, knowing that, why is it so hard for us to fail?
So as a culture, we have decided that success is immediately being able to do something well, when actually people,
who can do
nobody
that?
can.
Who can do that? And you gave us this great quote that says, anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. You don't get it right the first time.
Yes. And really but people who we consider very successful people learn from their mistakes, and they take those mistakes and make them a better person because of them. But I see all the time in my practice that kids are so afraid to make mistakes that they don't even try. And I think that comes from some of our parenting thinking we have to be perfect, which doesn't give that permission to our kids to be imperfect and make mistakes.
You know, and you made a good point earlier, and I want to bring that back again, which is that we need to, when we make a mistake, actually admit it.
Yes.
So we know ourselves because it just is something we do as humans, right? We're aware when we make a mistake. But letting our kids know, admitting it to our kids.
One of my most powerful parenting moments was when I goofed up as a parent, and I said things out of anger that I didn't mean. And I went back to my child and I said, I'm so sorry. Mom made a mistake, and I shouldn't have said this to you. This is how I really feel. And it was a bonding moment, and he was then able to admit that he had made mistakes and apologize for that. And I think that really helped us connect on a level of sometimes we do things and being able to apologize for them. Then I took accountability, and he was able to take accountability.
You know, and there's got to be something. Is that what it helps kids learn? I mean, when you're willing to kind of admit, I made a mistake, I think almost every parent has been there.
Yes.
Right? And what does that help the kid learn, your child learn?
It does teach them how to be responsible for what they do and be accountable and not blame others for their actions.
Not blame others, that's a key. So what are the best ways for a child to understand it's okay to make a mistake?
Well, the first one is that we model, and then we model taking accountability, and then we love them unconditionally when they make a mistake. We say to them, of course, everybody makes mistakes. What did you learn from this mistake? How are you gonna apply this to your life in a different way?
And you say really allow for those mistakes, allow those to happen. And as a parent, kind of let those happen as well, which is hard.
It is really hard.
Because you do, and I think in this generation of parenting, we really want to raise these little adults. I mean, we've talked a lot about that. That's a big kind of theme in parenting these days, is we're raising little adults, and they need to be kids.
They need to
make
kids.
mistakes. Because even as a parent,
we're making mistakes all the time.
Right, and you know, we're quick to forgive others, well, most of the time, right? And slow to forgive ourselves. Why is that?
I think as parents, we love our kids so much that we really strive to do our best. And we think that that means perfection. But actually, it's the imperfection, being able to allow for us to try our best and make mistakes and learn from those, that helps us be a better parent. And so we need to forgive ourselves and laugh at those mistakes that we make and be able to say to our friend, like, I did the worst thing, and I know I'm still a good mom because I did this, but it was just, you know, an epic fail and I learned from it.
And the sense of humor, I love that you brought that in because I know that relieves so much pressure sometimes.
It does.
When you feel it building, when you make a big mistake, to walk away and just say, whoa, that was horrible. Oh well, okay, we're moving on, we're moving forward. And you gave us a quote from Bill Gates. You said, your most unhappy customers are your greatest source of learning. Super interesting.
I think my hardest kids, in that, like, maybe the parenting things that I use with them doesn't always work, are my greatest teachers, because I have to be more creative and listen to them more, and really, no child is the same. None of them came with manuals, and we have to be willing to make a mistake, learn from that mistake, and move on.
Thank you so much, Holly.
Thank you.
Where can we learn more?
At grandviewfamilycounseling.com.
Perfect.
Thank you.